We do our television filming next week, so that fills up the week pretty good.
And you'll stay right on location and just wrestle for television purposes?
Yes.
In the studio, that is.
Yes.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. How often do other frontline wrestlers work? Do they work 3-4 times a week like you?
Yes, most of them do. I'm going to be cutting down. I've been doing since I lost the championship. I've been doing a lot of public speaking. I've been going around giving speeches to kids about drugs, about the importance of education. And I tell them that the most important thing I ever did was getting an education. My college education means more to me than the national championship, than the World Wrestling Federation championship. Because they can take me out of sports today, but they can't take my education away from me.
Bob, what's the most rabid wrestling city in the country?
Well, I like Baltimore. It really feels good when you go down there and those people are cheering for you and standing up. But I've never picked one city that I like a lot more than the other.
Is there any city where you go where the enthusiasm is just overwhelming?
The enthusiasm in professional wrestling is
the same everywhere?
Really pretty big. When I go to Japan, sir, the people don't cheer. It's a lot different over there. They sit there and watch. They're there. The people are there. There's a lot of people in the buildings, but there's no noise. They just sit there and watch, and that's something hard to get used to because you're used to the cheers and the boos and just anything.
How do they respond when your hand is raised in victory?
They clap then. If they like the match, they clap. But
only at the end, Bob,
yes,
huh?
Only at the end. They're very polite people and they're very nice people.
We're talking with Bob Backlund, former world heavyweight champion, two-time national collegiate champion, the 190-pound class, a graduate of North Dakota State, and a man for all seasons in the world of wrestling. We're going to come right back following these commercial messages with more of Bob Backlund.
I was searching for a light beer that wouldn't let me down. Then I discovered Amstel Light, and I knew that I had found a richer taste, an imported taste, a taste that had much more. Amstel Light, great tasting light, the light I'd been looking for. 95 calories, never tasted so imported, till they imported Amstel Light.
Van Munching and Company. They import Amstel Light. So next time you want a great tasting light beer, order one that's imported. Amstel Light Beer, only 95 calories.
95 calories, never tasted so imported, till they imported Amstel Light.
Van Munching and Company, New York. Exclusive importers of Amstel Light Beer.
WBAL, call for action.
If you're one of the millions of people changing jobs this year, take care before you agree to pay an employment agency. Find out what the fees will be, who will pay them, and what the services will be. Get free help from your high school or college career office.
Whenever you need help with a consumer problem, call WBAL Radio's Call for Action, weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 366-5900.
Children with asthma between the ages of 5 and 14 can benefit from the Asthma Swim program sponsored by the American Lung Association of Maryland, the University of Maryland Pediatric Allergy Clinic, and the Baltimore City Public Schools. It happens on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons from now through mid-June at the Joseph Briscoe Senior High Pool in Baltimore City. Call Mrs. Brown at the CHIP office at 396-0775 for details. This is a free service from the Christmas Seal people.
Returning to the Saturday Sports Special, we're with Bob Backlund, former world wrestling champion, a man internationally known, former intercollegiate champion at North Dakota State, who will subsequently be working with our Olympic wrestlers. A fascinating part, Bob, of wrestling are the nicknames of wrestlers like Andre the Giant and Blackjack Mulligan, Dirty Yellow Dog, Junkyard Dog. Where do they come up with the names? Is there a committee that decides on names?
I don't know how that happens. Everybody that comes in an area usually has a nickname or something that the promoters build them on. I've never liked any nicknames. My name is Bob Backlund. I don't have a fictitious name, and I'm proud of my name, and I don't want to use no name. Some of the people still they call me the champ once in a while, and I'm proud of that, because in their hearts they have to be proud of me to be able to say that. But I would never let anybody call me the Crusher, the Bruiser, or this or that. I just want to be Bob Backlund.
Who's been the strongest man you've been in the ring with?
Well, they're all pretty strong, but you can take a lot of weightlifters, like Ken Patera's a strong man in weightlifting. But on the mat, it makes a big difference. It's a lot different picking up a man than a barbell. The Iron Sheik is probably one of the strongest wrestlers in wrestling because of his background. He was in the Olympics. He won the nationals in his country. I know the people don't like him, and I don't care for him either. But I respect the man because he went through the hard way, starting when he was a young man, a young boy in amateur wrestling. That's the way everybody in professional wrestling should have to do.
What kind of associations do wrestlers establish with those that are in the same business? I mean, if you were working Pittsburgh last night, if you were in Sioux City, or you were in Detroit, and you see familiar wrestlers, do you become personally acquainted and then go out socially?
No, I don't.
Do other wrestlers, I'm not talking so much about you, would you think that others maybe would be inclined?
That may happen, sir. I don't stay in the same motels. I don't try to fly on the same airplanes, and I don't ride in a car with any other wrestlers. My home life is completely separate, and but I imagine there's some time when you'll see two wrestlers together.
What's the wildest scene you believe you've been a part of in an arena anywhere in this country or the world?
Oh, geez, something that I really felt bad about is when Billy Graham, the championship belt, he hit it on the floor and it broke apart. And when you work hard for something and somebody does something like that, it made me feel pretty bad.
Where'd that happen?
That happened in Allentown, Pennsylvania. I don't know, it hurt. I couldn't figure out why he would do that. He was going to try to win it. Now, if I was going to win the championship, I wouldn't be doing something like that to it. I'd win it and then get, if I lost after I had the match, then I'd get mad and do it, but not before.
There's a young wrestler named Tito Santana. Am I pronouncing his name right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What kind of ability does he have?
There's a lot of ability. He's in good condition, and he's great already, and he's got a big future ahead of him. Got a lot of respect for him.
Have you worked against many of the masked wrestlers?
A few of them. The Masked Superstar was just in the area, and I wrestled him. And
Midnight Rider was another one, right? Yeah.
Wrestling a masked guy is kind of hard because you can't see, you can't judge what he's thinking, or
his expression. Huh?
Yeah, you don't see anything in his face.
Tonight, in just a matter of hours, you'll be in with the Iron Sheik. What will your game plan be against him?
Well, he's the man that when I was doing his Persian clubs, they're real heavy, and he'd been challenging all the wrestlers to try to do them, and nobody would do it. Nobody could do it, and I went down and did it, and he shoved me on the side, and it hyperextended my elbow, and I have a bone chip in my elbow. And because of that, I lost the championship, and I owe a lot to this man. I'm going to be fired up when I get into the ring tonight.
When's the last time you wrestled him?
Well, it was...
in December?
I wrestled him one other time, and I had some time off, and let's see, where was that? I think it was up in Bangor, Maine, that I wrestled him, and anytime I can get a hold of him, I want to have at him.
Bob, tell us about your training diet.
My diet, I don't eat any sodas. I don't drink sodas. I eat a lot. I don't diet as far as calories goes. When I have to, when I get overweight, then I'll cut down on my calories. Your body is like a car. When you're exercising a lot, you can eat a lot. Now, a lot of people are exercising a lot, then they cut down on their exercises, but they forget about cutting down on their calories. When you exercise and stops, then you got to lower your calories to keep your weight down. And that's the way I judge my amount that I eat. by the amount I exercise each day.
What do you like to wrestle at? What weight?
I usually weigh between 230 and 235.
And you've wrestled men maybe 100 pounds heavier, have you?
Yeah, I wrestled Crusher Blackwell, weighed 425 pounds.
And how did you handle him? What were your tactics?
Well, geez, it's hard with a man like that for the first few minutes, because that's when he's feeling the best. But once you can get him wore down, if you can go more than 5 minutes with
Try to get him a lot of movement?
Yeah, try to give him a lot of movement, keep moving, and he'll get tired. And then if you feel his heart pounding, then you know you got him where you want him.
We're here with Bob Backlund, former world champion. We'll take your calls at 481-WBAL, the long-distance line. The area code is 301, and then 481-WBAL. Bob, tell us about the numerous wrestling associations. How do the wrestlers, do they belong to like one association, or can you wrestle, within various organizations?
Yeah, you can, like when I had the championship, I'd go down and wrestle in NWA or go out and wrestle in the AWA. There's no rule that says, hey, you can't go over and wrestle against another federation. If you're doing well in one, and you'll probably stick to that one. But there's wrestlers that come into the WWF and then they go down to the NWA, and they mix it back and forth once in a while.
Where are you rated right now? Do you know?
I never pay too much attention to those ratings. I never listen to them at all, or even look at them, because to me they don't mean much. When I wrestled in high school or in college, they never rated me very high either. Like when I won a national tournament, they seed the wrestlers, and they didn't even pick me in the top 10, and I won the tournament. So I've never went by what people predict.
What's the great contrast between college wrestling and professional wrestling?
Well, you don't have a ring. You have a point system in college. You don't have any submission. By the way, to the parents out there, a lot of parents get worried about amateur wrestling because it's going to be like professional wrestling. It's not like professional wrestling. It's one of the safest contact sports that they can be in. A referee he is told and he's coached to stop a match before there would be an injury, and you can't do that in any other sport.
Our number for Bob Backlund is 481-WBAL. The long-distance line is 301, and then 481-WBAL. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Bob.
Yes, sir.
I saw you down in Washington at the Capitol Center on the 19th.
With Mr. Fuji?
Yes.
Yes.
I like that match, and I hope you beat the Sheik tonight.
Well, I'm sure going to try.
I'm real sorry you lost the belt, though.
Well,
do you have a question for Bob?
Not really.
Okay. Just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, I hope you win the title back.
thank you very much. I'm going to try like heck to get in there and get it back.
Good.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye.
Fine. Bob, how about some of the problems of travel? Have you subjected yourself to lots of difficulty and lots of hours in the air?
Yeah, the traveling sometimes it gets to be harder than the actual wrestling or the training. My worst week in traveling, I put 20,000 miles in an airplane.
In a week?
In 7 days. I went from New York City to Tokyo to Honolulu to L.A. and back to New York in 7 days, and it took me quite a while to recover from that, and then I wrestled in each spot.
And you had 4 bouts in those 7 days?
Yes, sir.
What about Harley Race and Dusty Rhodes?
Harley Race has had the NWA title a number of times. I got a lot of respect for him, or he's got to be a great athlete to be able to do that. Dusty Rhodes, he's flamboyant. He's not a conditioned athlete. He's got a pretty big stomach on him, and I like to see a man train down and work hard, and I don't like to say anything derogatory about anybody.
Why do so many wrestlers have to have a gimmick?
You know, if I ever get out of professional wrestling, and there's a possibility, because I don't know if they're ever going to give me a chance to get back to WWF title, because at one time they wanted me to do more yelling and screaming than what I did. They wanted me to have my hair long. They wanted me to maybe be something different than what I am. And if it gets to be down to where that's what I got to do to get the championship back, that may force me to get out of wrestling.
You refuse to be typecast, then?
I'm not gonna. I told you earlier, sir, that I'm not gonna be anybody, and I'm not gonna put any fronts on to anybody. I'll never lie to the people, and I'm gonna be Bob Backlund, no matter what it costs.
Well, would it have been various promoters that would have tried to make you over, to try to turn you into a personality that you're not?
Well, they've wanted to. They've tried to, make me have long hair. I don't have long hair. They've tried to. Matter of fact, I usually spend a lot of time with the people, and they've tried to stop me from doing that. They've tried to stop me from signing autographs for people. They wanted me to hide from the people.
This would be the wrestling establishment, Bob?
This is the people in the WWF.
Well, what can you do to defend yourself against your own position, and is there some way that they can put you in a position where you don't work?
Well, they can just not schedule me on the cards. They can take me off television, and pretty soon the people will forget about me. And if I don't have the good contacts with the media and to let the people know what really happened, they can say what they want to. That they can say they fired me.
Who do you answer to right now?
Well, my manager is Arnold Skolin. But WWF has been scheduling me around now, and I'm just waiting. I'm ready to get in there and get the championship back. But I don't think it's going to happen.
I can't quite understand, though, why they try to program a wrestler in your conduct and what your personality is going to be. Is it that much show business?
Well, it's not show business. They just thought that I was hurting myself by doing that.
By being too conservative?
By being too friendly, maybe, with the people. I don't know their reasoning.
You never asked them?
No. I never stopped signing autographs either.
No. Who decides on whether you're going to be, as they say in the business, a baby face or a heel, or a good guy versus evil?
Well, I guess the individual does. I've always been the way I am as long as I've been in professional wrestling. I was bad when I was a young boy, but as long as I was in wrestling, I've been just the way I am, and I'm not going to change that.
How do you react when the critics of the sport say that the game is just a concert of prearranged matches? How do you handle that?
There's some people that think wrestling is this or that, or they say fake, and you can have your opinion. This is a free country, and you're welcome to your opinion. I'm going to respect you, and I hope you respect me. And I'm not going to try to change your opinion, because if I say it isn't or it is, you're not going to change your mind.
We're here with Bob Backlund. The number is 481 WBAL, and good evening. You're on the air.
Well,
go ahead.
did Bob Backlund see when Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson lost the belts today?
Yes, I did.
Well, I was wondering if would you like to be a tag team partner?
I'm not particularly excited about being tag teams, but they may tag me up with somebody. It wouldn't be on my choice. I only have one person that I'd want to be my partner, and he's going to be helping. I'm going to be helping him with the United States Olympic team. He's going to be the coach.
Who is he?
His name is Brad Rangan. I wrestled with him in college, and he's a great man, and I know I can trust him.
I bought wrestling books, and I saw you in a picture with Brad Rangan. He wrestles up in the AWA, and also, while you were saying you wrestled bigger men, like in Crusher Blackwell.
Yeah.
I was watching wrestling on Georgia, and he was wrestling. He was a real big guy.
Yeah, he is.
What happened in the match against him?
I won.
You won?
Yes.
Amazing.
Okay, thank you for the call.
Bye.
Fine. Good evening. You're on the air with Bob Backlund.
Yes, good evening, Bob.
Yes.
I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and sorry you lost the title to the Iron Sheik. My question is, you lost the title to the Iron Sheik, and Hulk Hogan won it from the Iron Sheik. Now, who holds the title now?
Hulk Hogan.
So when you wrestle the Iron Sheik, then you're not going to be wrestling for the title.
No, I'm just going to be wrestling for revenge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Bob. Hey, good luck, man.
Thank you very much, sir.
And put the camel clutch on him.
Yeah.
All right, fine. The number's 481 WBAL with Bob Backlund. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello.
Yes.
How you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
Hello, Mr. Backlund.
Yes.
I'll tell you, I think you have one of the best managers you ever had in a many a day.
Well, he's a good man. Yes, sir.
And I know who he, when he had Bruno and also yourself. They don't want nobody that has a little decency about them anymore, I don't think, in the business.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, sir.
Yeah, I was hearing you, and it seems like people would just want, I don't know, nobody wants anything that's a little decency anymore in wrestling or anything kind of sports. You know, looks like people want to see people
far out. Yeah, I understand. I know what you're trying to say, and I hope that the people don't want me to change. It's just the promoters.
No, I wouldn't want you to change. Matter of fact, I think it's what's true with our world, and maybe that's why we're having problems right now. I'm not trying to get off, wrestling, but maybe that's our problems.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you for the call. Fine. Bob, what happens if there are young men listening tonight who have an idea, I'm talking college age, that want to get into professional wrestling? Is there a school or an academy where they can go?
Yeah, I may have a wrestling camp this fall. There'll be some publicity about it, probably in the wrestling programs and on television. So people could have the opportunity to see if they can prove themselves enough to be in professional wrestling.
Where do you believe that you might have it?
Probably up in Connecticut someplace, close to my home, so I don't have to.
Where are you living in Connecticut?
I live out of Hartford in a small town called Glastonbury, Connecticut.
Then you moved from the Midwest to...
Yes, sir.
For any particular reason?
Well, I was doing most of my wrestling here in the East, and I was on airplane too much. I was going back and forth all the time, and I was tired when I got home, and I wasn't... it was taken away from my family.
More for convenience sake.
Yes, yes.
Another call for Bob Backlund, and good evening. You're on the air.
Oh, good evening. Bob?
Yes, sir?
I'm an avid fan of yours. I've been watching every time you come to Baltimore. I'm a foreigner, but I love you so much. Thanks a lot for all you give to the people of this country.
Well,
what I want to know is this. Why, after you, Iron Sheik got the title from you,
yes,
how come you could not return to fight,
Return match?
Uh-huh.
Why don't you turn your radio in the background and make it a lot easier for all of us, please?
Okay.
And then Bob will address your question.
Oh, okay. What I want to know is that Bob, since you were the top man then, after Hulk Hogan took the title, couldn't they schedule you to fight Hulk Hogan?
That's what I want, sir, and that's what I'm battling for right now. And I don't think it's going to do any good, all the talking I do. It's going to be up to you people whether I get a chance to get it back.
Oh, well, I hope they do, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Fine, thank you so much. The number is 481-WBAL if you care to talk with Bob Backlund. Long-distance line, it's 301 and then 481-WBAL. Do most of the wrestlers on the circuit come from college backgrounds today, Bob?
There's a lot of them, but not as many as it should be. For a young man, when he asks me how he can get into professional wrestling, I ask him if he's been in amateur wrestling. I tell him to go to college if he hasn't been in college. I tell him to get an education first. Amateur wrestling is the road to professional wrestling, and nobody should be able to come into professional wrestling without having it. You don't try to fly an airplane before you learn how to walk.
You said earlier that you lived out of the back of your automobile in your early days in professional wrestling.
Yes, I did. My parents didn't have much money, and I couldn't ask them for any. And when I started in wrestling, I couldn't afford to rent a motel room.
You slept in your car?
Yes, trunk of my car. 6 weeks. I know what it feels like to be a bum.
Where would you have been wrestling then?
I was down in Louisiana, and I know what it's like to be a bum, and I started out on the bottom, the very bottom, and I remember those days, and I'm not one of those people that got to have a big contract and got big success right away, and because of that, I've saved my money, and I've been very cautious about how I spend my money. A lot of people that make it big in sports right away, they blow it all right away when they're finished. They don't have any more than when they started, and that's not what they should do when they get that successful.
At what point in your early career did you realize that this could be extremely beneficial to you in a monetary way and that you were going to make it?
When I was sleeping in the trunk of my car, I was thinking a lot of times that there had to be a better way.
Where were some of the towns that you worked in Louisiana?
Shreveport, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Houma, Louisiana, Alexander, Louisiana.
Is that the so-called minor leagues of professional wrestling?
It's not too bad. It's a pretty good area, but I was just on the first, second match, and I just wasn't doing that well as far as the income goes, and it took a while before as a matter of fact, it took about 4 years, just about up until the time I won the championship. It was just like...
What would your early purses have been when you were starting out?
Well, $30, $25, 50 maybe once in a while. Then I was really happy.
What's the biggest purse you've wrestled for?
I don't like to talk about my income too much. I make a good living, and I try to do right with my income, but I don't usually talk about my income too much, sir.
Well, we certainly respect that part of your privacy. Our number here is 481-WBAL. The long-distance line is 301, and then 481-WBAL. We're going to pause right now for some commercial messages and then come back with more of Bob Backlund. We invite your calls. Once more, it's 481-WBAL.
From Anheuser-Busch, here's L.A. Great taste and half the alcohol of our regular beer.
You've shaped this world and changed it, made it better, rearranged it, in the way you think and what you drink and everything you do.
L.A. delivers all the taste of a fine Pilsner, but has only 1/2 the alcohol of our regular beers. So if you love beer, but think less alcohol is a good idea, now you have a choice. Say L.A. From Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
You know, for years, fishermen have enjoyed the convenient fingertip control of Minn Kota electric fishing motors. Minn Kota's twist grip handle lets you turn the motor on and off, control speed, and steer with smooth, one-hand operation. Now something new has been added, a telescoping twist grip handle. It reaches out to you, bringing Minn Kota's popular one-hand control even closer. So for the most convenient electric fishing power, the choice is black and white. Minn Kota.
Voluntary early retirements have become a popular way for corporations to trim bloated payrolls. But according to a recent article in the Wall Street Journal, these golden handshakes aren't cheap, and some say they're not good for the worker, the company, or the country. If information like this is important to you, have a pencil ready for a new money-saving offer that will help you get off to a head start every business day. If you'd been reading the Wall Street Journal every business day, you would have read what the investment picture is for gold. How floating interest rates that have already made sweeping changes in the housing market are now available for certain car loans, and why concern is mounting over airline safety. The Wall Street Journal. It's all the business news you need when you need it. Now, here's that new money-saving offer. Order 19 weeks of the Journal for $39 and save $7.50 off the cover price. Call toll-free in the continental U.S. 800-255-5000. That's 19 weeks, just $39, and save $7.50. Call now, 800-255-5000.
Do you wish you had somebody to talk to, another woman who will listen to your problems without making judgments? Do you have a troubled marriage or difficulty with your child, a struggle to make ends meet, the problems of a single parent? Well, if so, call WISH, Women in Self-Help, between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. It's free, anonymous, and it's immediate. A trained volunteer will answer your call, a woman like yourself who will listen with a woman's ear. Elaine Stein suggesting you call WISH, 433-9400, 433-9400.
Once more, the Saturday Sports Special. We're with Bob Backlund. We invite... Once more, the Saturday Sports Special. We're with Bob Backlund. We invite your calls. Good evening. You're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I'd like to ask Mr. Backlund 2 questions, but first I'd like to say, when I saw him at the Capitol Center, it was a very impressive win over Mr. Fuji.
Thank you.
And I'd like to know what your feelings would be on with a match between Hulk Hogan and yourself.
My signature will be there as soon as they can arrange it, or as soon as they will arrange it. But it's going to be more up to you people than it is up to me.
And I would know, how would you feel if you could fight Tito Santana for the Intercontinental belt?
I would be not that interested in wrestling for the Intercontinental title. I want the World Wrestling Federation title back, if I can get it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. You're on the air. Good evening. Hello. Good evening. You're with Bob Backlund.
I enjoy watching Bob Backlund, and I would like to know, how did he feel about Jimmy Superfly Snuka, because I think he's the best wrestler out.
Well, he's a good man. He's really colorful, and I got a lot of respect for him. But like I said earlier, I don't associate with any other wrestlers as far as out of the ring.
Okay?
Okay.
Fine, thank you. Good evening, you're on the air. Our number is 481-WBAL. Bob, you'll be going to Colorado Springs. Is that where you'll be going to work with the Olympic wrestlers?
Yeah, that's where their training camp is, and that's where they'll be working out. And, I'll be going there probably in the end of June or the first part of July.
I thought maybe it was next week that you were going to be going there.
No, at the end of June. They still have one trial left to find out who's going to qualify. And they pick a team, and then they pick an alternate team. And they'll be going down to Colorado Springs.
Do you know anything about the United States prospects?
Well, they were hoping that the Russians would be in there because they're the ones that have the good wrestling team. But they should get a lot of medals without them there, but it's just not going to be the same without all the countries there. I feel bad about them dropping out, but I was expecting it.
Why were you expecting it?
Well, we dropped out 4 years ago, and we hurt their Olympics. We cost them a lot of money, and they're just retaliating.
Do they have professional wrestling in Russia?
I don't think they have professional wrestling in Russia. They have it in the Middle East. They have it in Mexico. It's real big up in Canada. But in Russia, I don't think they have it. They have it in Germany, in England.
Have you wrestled in England and Germany?
No.
You plan to?
I might get a tour to go over to those countries sometime. Right now, I think I want to stay right in this country and continue the work that I've been doing with children and just be with my family as much as I can.
You're 33. How much longer can you wrestle?
Well, there's some athletes that go a long, long time. There's wrestlers that go up until their late 40s. I know of a hockey player that's a neighbor of mine that played till he was 52.
Who was that?
That's Gordie Howe.
Oh, sure.
He's a great one. I have a lot of respect for him, and he's a friend of mine. I don't know if I can go that long, but if he can do it, there's no reason why I can't.
What about your cardiovascular system? What do doctors tell you when they examine you?
Well, my pulse in the morning is 44. And that's
what condition you have to be in to have that kind of a pulse?
That's a marathon runner's pulse, but a marathon runner only weighs 150 pounds. I weigh 230. Most doctors are very surprised at my blood pressure when they check it. We get checked every night before we wrestle.
Do you do a lot of road work?
I don't do any road work at all.
How about jumping rope?
I jump rope before I go into the ring to wrestle. It warms your whole body up. It's a great exercise, and it really raises up your pulse rate. But I do that Harvard step test, and that really is good to lower your heart rate.
How long do you like to warm up before you go in the ring? How long will you warm up tonight?
Well, I'll jump rope for 15 minutes, and I'll do some stretching, and probably about 20 minutes of pretty good warm-up. I like to have a pretty good sweat before I go in the ring.
Okay, we're with Bob Backlund. The number's 481 WBAL, and good evening. You're on the air.
Hello.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a message for Bobby.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to give Bobby my name. It's been too many years that separate us in wrestling, but I thought he might like to know that the Golden Terror has been a patient over at GBMC. He did have a severe stroke.
Jeez, yeah.
Bobby's Stewart is his right name. I thought Bobby might want to know that.
Yeah, say hello to him for me.
Now, service.
How's he progressing?
I think he's on outpatient now. He's taking therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
what part of Baltimore does he live?
Me, I'm out around Glendon.
Uh-huh.
I know something about the game. That's the reason I called to talk to Bobby and tell him that...
Are you the Golden Terror?
No, I'm not.
Uh-huh.
He has trouble speaking.
I see.
He speaks very slow, and it's very agonizing for him to talk. And it's been quite a few years, and he jogged some memories when I heard Bobby talking. We could talk about Joe Malkowitz. We could talk about Jack...
Waffle Ear Joe Malkowitz?
Yeah.
We could talk about Jack Ross, old Jack Ross down in Augusta. Talk about Landis.
Danny O'Mahony?
Dan O'Mahony, yes. He was okay till he got in trouble in the military.
Oh, did he? I wasn't aware of that.
Too many MPs. He couldn't beat them all.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Bobby, you'd like to know that.
Yes,
Fine.
Thank you.
Thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you.
Fine. Bob, what about Vern Gagne, who played for the Green Bay Packers and University of Minnesota, I think?
Yeah, he went to the University of Minnesota, and matter of fact, he's a pretty darn good friend of mine. He wrestled in high school in Minnesota and won the same weight class as I did, and he won the same weight class in college as I did. Matter of fact, we were both All-Americans in football.
What would Vern be doing now? Do you have any idea?
He's out in Minnesota. He does a lot with amateur wrestling, and he's into promoting professional wrestling.
Oh, he
now.
is?
Yes.
Take another call for Bob Backlund. Good evening, you're on the air. Good evening, you're on the air.
I have a question for Bob Backlund, please.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to know about his match against the Masked Superstar, where I believe it was in New York, where the Superstar supposedly left Bob Backlund laying outside the ring. Is this actual fact, or?
Yeah, he did that. He shocked me pretty good that I had to wrestle him again, and then I got him in the middle of the ring.
Well, Bob, why wouldn't he take your title then, or?
Well, it was. I think it ended up to be a disqualification, and you have to pin me or you have to make me submit to get the championship away from me.
Okay, so in other words, the match had already ended when he did this.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought he did this and just left you there, and rather than take your title, he just left.
No.
Okay, and can I ask you one more question?
Go ahead.
About that match against Jimmy Snuka.
Yes.
When he jumped off that steel cage.
Yes.
Is that actual fact too?
Yes, it is.
What?
Yes, he climbed up the cage, and I watched him go up to the top, and then I moved when he came down.
Has he been your toughest opponent?
They're all tough. I take them one at a time. I never pick anybody out that's any tougher than the other one. I just one at a time.
Okay. Well, good luck, Bob, and I hope.
Thank you very much.
Back.
I hope so too.
Okay, thank you.
Fine.
Bye.
Bob, let me ask you about a wrestler, Sergeant Slaughter, who was reputed to be a former Marine sergeant from Paris Island.
Yeah. He's. I've had a lot of things happen between him and I. Matter of fact, he whipped me on television. I had marks all over my upper body, and he's a tough man, and he's had a lot of battles now with Iron Sheik, and he's becoming a crowd favorite right now. But I don't know if I'm a little leery of him yet.
Do you remember Gorgeous George when he was on the wrestling tour?
No, I don't.
He's ahead of you.
I don't remember him. Matter of fact, I was raised in Minnesota, so a lot of the wrestlers that were very popular out here never even came to Minnesota.
How frequent does it happen that a wrestler here in the East would wind up wrestling in Dallas or Denver or Butte, Montana?
Well, nowadays that can happen. Very easy. Wrestling is growing, and people are traveling more, and you could wrestle in New York one night and be in L.A. the next.
It used to be, it was more like it was on a network. Isn't that correct?
Yes. And I imagine it's a lot easier to travel now, so it's made the wrestling expand a little more.
And of course, are you recognized in airports and all over the country? Yes.
I usually bump into people that recognize me, and I enjoy meeting people. And I would feel bad if they didn't come up to me and shake my hand. I would rather them come up to me and say hello rather than wonder if that was me or not. Just anybody can come up to me and say hello. I enjoy meeting people.
Do you ever have to travel with a bodyguard?
No, I don't. I don't need a bodyguard. I don't need a chauffeur. I travel by myself, and a lot of people, and a good example is Muhammad Ali. He had a lot of friends when he was making a lot of money, but I wonder how many friends he has when he's down.
Well,
a lot of people taking advantage of him. And I don't want nobody taking. I don't need those type people.
Well, sports is kind of an artificial world anyhow, where there's so many fast friends that you make, but they're fair weather friends, and when things go against you, they're just not there.
Yep.
Take another call for Bob Backlund. The number's 481 WBAL. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yes, I'd like to know, Bob, do you work out with weights, or do you just do conditioning exercise?
No, I don't work out with any weights at all. I do have 2 5-pounders that I hold in each hand when I do the Harvard step test. Other than that, I don't use any weights at all.
And about your match with the Iron Sheik when you lost the belt, was it your discretion that Skull and throwing the towel, or was that all his decision?
No, he had to make this decision himself, because I was in the ring and the Sheik had the Cobra clutch on me, and he was worried about my arm or my neck being damaged more than it already was, and I respected him for throwing in the towel. It took a lot for him to do that, but the thing that hurt me the worst is when they took me out of the match to try to get the championship back.
Well, I'd like to wish you luck tonight, being the Sheik.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks.
Fine, thank you so much. And Bob Backlund, we would like to thank you of giving of your time to come here and be with us this evening.
It's been a pleasure to be on with you, sir, and it's been a pleasure to be on in Baltimore. There's a lot of great people out there, and those people out there are my friends.
Bob, it's incredible, though, that you spent the afternoon at the city's hospital. You just stopped by a hospital and say, are there any kids that I might possibly visit and cheer up?
Yeah, I just, that makes me just as happy as it makes the children.
I mean, there are wrestlers who would be lounging or taking a nap or doing a zillion other things, but they wouldn't be going to hospitals. And that is certainly to your credit.
Well, I thank you, sir.
And we just hope that a lot of good things can happen to you in the wrestling business.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Bob Backlund, thanks once more. Now to John Patty and the 8 o'clock news.
Your station for exclusive coverage of the Triple Crown, Radio 11 WBAL Baltimore.
The Pride of Baltimore, off again. Good evening, I'm John Patty with WBAL News at 8 o'clock. It was a little late in shoving off this afternoon, but Baltimore's Ambassador of Goodwill is off on a 6-month trip to Boston, Halifax, and Quebec. The Pride's Barbara Bazzuto summed up the meaning of the vessel for WBAL TV.
It provides dividends on several different levels, the first being just publicity and attention for the city, that we are a nice city and we have exciting things going on here. And the Pride represents that through her crew and just through herself as being a wonderful ambassador of goodwill.
Once in Quebec, the Pride of Baltimore will be part of a tall ship ceremony. It was graduation day at Morgan State University today. The guest speaker for the 117th graduation exercises, Philadelphia Mayor W. Wilson Goode, a Morgan graduate of 23 years ago. Also on hand, Guy Bluford, America's first black astronaut. Bluford told WBAL TV he made his way through the graduates today.
The thing that I try and tell students is the fact that there are opportunities out there that they can achieve, and that there's a good potential for them to achieve it through hard work and dedication, particularly in the science and engineering fields, which I try to encourage kids to come into, with the hope that some of them will eventually come into the astronaut program and support the space program.
Bluford was given an honorary degree. Graduation week continues at the Naval Academy in Annapolis, and today no less than 10 weddings at the Naval Academy Chapel were scheduled. One couple